CBS 6 tracking a huge day in Albany. 2 decisions made today certain to have a major impact on your future and the future of New York State.
In the capital region, this board recommends Rivers Casino and Resort.
That would be Schenectady, the big winner for the capital region tonight. The State Gaming Facility Location Board recommending Rivers Casino at Mohawk Harbor for the lone capital region casino license.
Plus, New York State moving to prohibit fracking. The reasons it's giving tonight for the denial and the response from those who have pushed for the natural gas drilling.
Well, the gamble paying off tonight for Schenectady and its casino developers. Its proposal besting those in Rensselaer, East Greenbush, and at Howe Caverns in Schoharie County.
We have team coverage tonight from the Empire State Plaza and the Electric City as well. You also hear from the local communities who missed out on bringing a casino to town.
Cody Holyoke is anchoring our coverage in Albany tonight following today's casino decision. Craig Smith is in Schenectady, a press conference with some very excited city officials wrapping up there at Proctor's Theater just a short time ago.
Let's get things right over to Cody. You spoke with the board today. I know months of parsing and vetting went into this decision, right?
They did. Greg and Dory, good evening. The board kept very busy for months now going through background checks. They traveled the state and reviewed thousands of pages of applications. This is not a decision that they took lightly. After listening to public criticism and pleas for support for a number of projects, this 5-member gaming facility location board, they're all unpaid. They travel the state. They decided that Schenectady, as you mentioned, would be the best bet for the capital region. The board took a long look at the economic impact that project will bring, they say, and remarked that the project is the whole package set to be part of the Mohawk Harbor development at the old Alco site, which combines residential and commercial space. So the big question now is, will it work? We did ask board members today about concerns surrounding a saturated casino industry, something we've been talking about for months, including troubles in Atlantic City. Many experts say gaming dollars are dwindling, but the board members quickly shot back.
We did take a look at what was happening in the entire industry, not just in New Jersey, but in the country. And then there's certainly a lot of things happening in Atlantic City, and then rumors about things that might be happening in northern New Jersey. We decided that our statutory obligation was to carry out the statute, and we couldn't base our decision on what might happen or what other states might do or what other governors might do.
So it's not a game of what ifs, I guess. The Rivers Casino at Mohawk Harbor, by the way, here are some numbers, will be a 50,000 square foot facility. Developers will say it'll bring in more than 875 full-time jobs, much needed in Schenectady. Also, nearly 200 part-time positions. Its proposed capital investment, we're told, is $300.1, the point one's very important, $1 million. So nearly a third of $1 billion going into this project. Of course, the folks in Schenectady are ecstatic right now. Most of them are. That's where we find our Craig Smith. He's continuing our live team coverage from Proctor's Theater, where community leaders voiced their reactions today. Craig, what are you hearing?
Well, Cody, certainly most of the principals who were here at the Proctor's GE Theater were ecstatic about this news today. There was almost a bit of giddiness here when the mayor held a news conference to give us a reaction from the local leaders. Now, even before the press conference began, the news was announced for all to see on the marquee here outside Proctor's. Casino Rivers, congratulations is the message to folks. The decision to hold the news conference here shows the degree to which city officials see any success from a casino as tying into Proctor's Theater and the downtown facelift that's been part of State Street. People have been experiencing that for the last decade or so. I asked the police commissioner who was here today, I asked him about any concerns about a casino attracting a criminal element. He said he's more concerned with traffic. There'll be more targets on the street, I would imagine.
Well, will they be on the street on foot or will they be in their cars? And I suspect most of them will be leaving by vehicle or public transportation. We're prepared to address that.
How big of a concern should that be?
Well, actually, I think that's really a false perception. I mean, gaming has been legalized outside of Nevada and Atlantic City for 25 years or so. So there's really good body of evidence that you can look to see what the impacts are.
Mayor Gary McCarthy was here as well. He said one of the good things about this project is it's only about a 6-block walk from here at Proctor's Theater. He expects that people will do less walking if they come to visit here, he says, than if they went to visit Saratoga Springs. So even as the construction's getting underway here, the marketing is being ramped up as well. Live in Schenectady, Craig Smith, CBS 6 News. Cody?
No doubt good for tourism. Craig, thanks a lot. You know, our team was all over this issue, and we were all over the area today. CBS 6 was at Rensselaer City Hall with Mayor Dan Dwyer. He wasn't here at the announcement. He was watching it from his office, and our cameras were rolling today as he left the room in disgust after hearing the announcement.
Mayor, are you disappointed?
Damn right I am.
I thought we had all the qualifications right to the T, okay? And the Gaming Commission didn't look on it that way, I guess. And I don't know, that one thing that I don't understand is our casino would have generated up to $40 million minimum a year more, of which the state gets 48%. How do you turn that down?
Mayor Dwyer not mincing words tonight. It's important to note that there were 2 other regions and casino proposals were selected in Sullivan and Seneca counties. The location board, though, decided not to recommend that 4th casino license that was up for grabs, and they say that they will not do that in the future. The Catskills and Hudson Valley region attracted the most interest. They had 9 bidders out of the 16 that were applying. The board feared that more than one in that area would be bad for business, and they denied any applications from Orange County downstate. Of course, you can read more about the factors involved in this decision on our website, cbs6albany.com. Just click on top stories. Now, coming up at 6:30, our team coverage continues in full force. We're going to hear from the folks from Schoharie County, a vocal group who push for gambling in their community. And right now, Kimberly Howard is in Schenectady as well, speaking with residents, getting their thoughts on today's decision. You'll see that coming up at 6:30. A lot of coverage and a lot of things to get to, Greg and Dory, as we go through this monumental announcement for the Capital Region.
Plenty to digest tonight. Thank you very much, Cody. And yes, we will see you in 30 minutes.
Well, Governor Cuomo also picked Casino Decision Day to announce the long-awaited decision on hydro-fracking in New York. It's a no-go. Fracking will be prohibited. The acting health commissioner, Dr. Howard Zucker, says drilling for natural gas raises many red flags with a great risk for public health issues.
Brandon Lewis is live in our Capitol newsroom tonight. Brandon, you were there for the announcement at the Capitol this afternoon, and the GOP tonight is blasting this decision.
Yeah, Greg and Dory, they're calling it a political charade from the start, but the commissioners are standing by their research. And tonight, the energy industry says while this may ban fracking now, the discussion certainly isn't over.
There are many red flags because there are questions that remain unanswered from lack of scientific analysis.
Behind Health Commissioner Howard Zucker were stacks of research he says led him to conclude fracking doesn't belong in New York.
Once damage is done, it is often extremely difficult to fix it, and we have a responsibility, not only to ourselves, but as Dr. Axelrod said, to future generations.
The Environmental Health Department plans to release a legally binding report next year that would effectively ban fracking, much to the displeasure of those hoping to bring the energy industry to the state's southern tier.
This governor was the first governor in modern times to have the opportunity to turn around the upstate economy, and he decided that it did not matter. And unfortunately, those communities are going to suffer for it.
Cuomo wouldn't specifically say no fracking, but acknowledged the research presented.
From the data, there are questions that are raised that you consider serious questions about public health. And there is no research that would deny those questions.
And while that essentially means the state's moratorium on fracking continues, the energy industry says it's not over yet.
Do you think the energy companies would consider picking this back up under another administration then?
I think so, because the resource is here. We've never even been given the opportunity to do exploratory drilling. And so, you know, whether our companies will ever get that opportunity, we shall see.
Now, this still leaves the question of what happens now to the economy and the communities that plan to host fracking sites. We'll tell you the governor's answer coming up tonight at 6:30. Live in the Capitol newsroom, Brandon Lewis, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, Brendan. Following this one very closely for you, too, Governor Cuomo also talked today about the possibility of a special session of the legislature before the end of the year to address the issue of a pay raise for state lawmakers. He said he is willing to sign off on that pay raise for lawmakers, but not without something in return. And right now, he and legislative leaders are not close on that. Cuomo says he wants campaign finance reform, public financing. He calls it a non-starter. So far, no willingness from lawmakers to give him that. The governor is also just 6 hours away now from having to decide whether to sign or veto a bill that would create a commission to decide on pay raises for management confidential employees. Because they are not part of a union, they have not received the pay raises that other state workers have. Again, that's a midnight deadline tonight.
Well, some big national news tonight as well. Washington looking to improve relations with Cuba, but it's not sitting well with some lawmakers.
Today, by conceding to the oppressors, this president and this administration have let the people of Cuba down.
What the U.S. wants inside Cuban borders and how this new relationship could impact future commerce between the two nations. A landmark announcement out of Washington today. The U.S. and Cuba are opening up talks for the first time in more than 50 years. That announcement came just minutes after an American was released from a Cuban prison. Alan Gross had been held there for the last 5 years. As for the relationship with Cuba, Washington plans to open an embassy in Havana, plus ease travel restrictions between the two countries and allow for more business between the two countries as well.
Neither the American nor Cuban people are well served by a rigid policy that's rooted in events that took place before most of us were born.
Gross was in Cuba as a subcontractor for USAID, which does work to promote democracy. He was charged as a spy and then sentenced to 15 years in prison. As a part of this new agreement, the U.S. released 3 Cubans convicted of espionage in 2001.
Sony Pictures has now canceled its Christmas Day release of the movie The Interview. The decision comes after many of the country's largest theater chains decided to pull the movie. Anonymous hackers threatened violence and told moviegoers to avoid theaters where that film would be showing. The movie is a comedy about killing the leader of North Korea. A Queensbury man facing a handful of charges following an apparent road rage incident in a Lowe's parking lot. Eric Edwards, you see him right there, accused of smashing out another driver's back window with a baseball bat. On top of that, investigators tell CBS 6 Edwards was drunk and refused a breathalyzer test. Well, coming up, what has been rain is now switching to a bit of snow, but only in some spots.
We have a live look right now over downtown Albany, the Empire State Plaza, all lit up over what has been a very busy spot today in the capital region. Steve is in next with a look at who's likely to get some accumulation tonight.
CBS 6 News with Steve LaPointe, the Weather Authority.
Well, the rain has obviously returned to many areas of the Hudson Valley late this afternoon, this evening. We've seen a switch to snow in higher elevation locations as well, and that's likely going to persist at least through the evening, with more of the higher spots going over to snow a little bit later on tonight. So we'll just call it mixed rain and snow showers, breezy conditions. Temperatures drop back into the lower 30s ultimately. And I think late tonight there'll be a tendency for things to dry out in the valleys. But again, the high spots will probably keep with the snow showers into tomorrow. So that's the case. Some snow showers for the mountains tomorrow. The rest of us just cloudy and for the most part dry, expecting a high in the upper 30s. Gusty wind again coming up on your Thursday. Radar picture noontime. There wasn't a lot happening. Clouds and fog around, but not too much in terms of the clouds depositing anything. And that's now changed as we've got a strong westerly flow and a lot of moisture in the atmosphere with low pressure to our north and an upper air disturbance that's started to come in. So it's producing lift, and that's now producing rain in the valleys. Some higher elevation snow, Rensselaer County, southern Vermont into the Berkshires, 1/10 of an inch of snow on top of Woodford Mountain so far, and that's a spot high up in elevation that could see 6-7 inches of snow into the day Thursday. And we've got some snow showers now breaking out across Schoharie County, the western Catskills, and the Adirondacks, but so far it's been pretty light back in here. But again, real wet in the capital region right now, right around Albany into Schenectady up to Clifton Park, Mechanicville, Stillwater, much of Rensselaer County and the lower elevations dealing with some wet weather. So this is the hot spot right now. It extends south into Columbia, portions of eastern Ulster and Dutchess counties, but it's a fairly narrow strip here with not too much happening to our west. A little strip of some light snow into Schoharie County right now in the hills. And again, the hills will see increasing amounts of precipitation tonight, and the valleys late tonight should see a general decrease. Here's the low to our north, fronts to our east. We've got the wind that's now picking up, so upsloping is happening here, which is at least somewhat responsible for the flare-up we've seen. Our simulation really is not picking up on it very well. This is what it's depicting for 9 o'clock and not much coverage. I think it'll be much more expansive. And again, still in the valleys, it'll be rain, but the hills will be snow. And before it ends, we may get some wet snowflakes down to the valley floor. Could be a little bit of an increase as the upper level disturbance comes in for a time tonight and then tending to decrease as we head into the daylight hours. But notice especially southern Vermont, the Taconics, northern Berkshires will be a hot spot for some persistent snow. High spots in the Adirondacks and Catskills will see some as well. And those snow showers will persist into Thursday, but the rest of us will generally see dry conditions. Could even be some brightening of the skies south of Albany coming up tomorrow. In terms of potential accumulation, very localized and again elevation dependent. Southern Vermont will be the hot spot, 2 to 4, but places like Woodford it might be 6 to 7. Taconics, northern Berkshires will get a couple of inches of snow. Adirondacks the same. The Catskills in spots. We'll see some localized 1 to 3 inch snow accumulations through noon on Thursday, and the rest of us really won't have too much at all. Temperatures still for the most part in the valleys above freezing. 40 at Glens Falls, 38 Albany, and 45 at Poughkeepsie. So it'll take a while to get any wet snow mixing in. And again, it shouldn't amount to more than just some flakes for the capital region. By morning, Indian Lake 27, 32 for Saratoga and Bennington, low 30s around Albany, Pittsfield 30, and Great Barrington about 32 tonight. Pretty gray tomorrow. Again, some brightening in the mid-Hudson Valley. That's where temperatures will be at their warmest, 44. The rest of it's mid to high 30s. Feeling a little bit cooler though, with a west wind gusting up to about 25, and the mountains get some snow showers. Friday, Saturday, dry. Storm watch now off the board for Sunday, but I still do expect at least some light nuisance type snow or maybe mixed rain and snow in the valleys. It should not amount to that much though, mid 30s. Monday, cloudy, dry. Tuesday, dry. Christmas Eve, looks like we could be dealing with rain at this point, with the large storm potentially tracking to our west. Very early call on that though, and this time of the year, a subtle shift can mean the difference between rain and snow, but for now, 40s and rain.
Does that jeopardize our white Christmas at all, or?
Could.
Really?
Certainly could.
Wow.
Yeah. White Christmas officially defined as an inch of snow or more on the ground.
It can be old snow, though.
It can be old snow.
Okay.
That's for sure.
I'd
And
like
at
to
the rate
see
it's
it.
going,
All right.
it's been going pretty quick.
We'll hope for the best.
We'll see.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Steve.
Steve. Well, a career best performance for a Section 2 star helps his team to remain unbeaten, and that story's just ahead.
Plus, the fight against cancer brings a major leaguer to Guilderland. Up next in sports, Doug tells us what the local fifth graders did to warrant that special visit.
CBS 6 Sports with Doug Sherman.
Welcome back, everybody. Craig Breslow took the path less traveled to Major League Baseball. From Trumbull, Connecticut, he pitched in the Ivy League at Yale. As a 26th round draft pick in 2002, the left-handed reliever has spent the past 9 seasons pitching in the big leagues, including the last 2.5 with Boston. Breslow visited Altamont Elementary School this afternoon to talk with students about his charity, the Strike 3 Foundation, which raises money and awareness for childhood cancer. Breslow's nephew, Ian Schaefer, got to introduce his famous uncle today. Now, Karen Schaefer's 5th grade classroom recently raised more than $1,300 for the Melody Center for Childhood Cancer and Blood Disorders at Albany Medical Center. And for that, among other more intrinsic gifts, the kids got a visit today from a big leaguer.
My sister is a cancer survivor, and one of the things that I enjoy most is talking to kids. So kind of the opportunity to come here and marry those two causes, both the opportunity to talk about education and the importance of dedication and commitment, and also to highlight some of the great work that they've been doing here is one I didn't want to pass up.
After stops in San Diego, Cleveland, Minnesota, Oakland, Arizona, and Boston, Breslow is now once again a free agent. He has reportedly had talks with both the Mets and White Sox. The Adirondack Flames played a Wednesday matinee in front of 13,000 fans in Chicago and skated away with a 4-1 win. 3 third-period goals were the difference. We continue to witness the emergence of Guilderland's Andrew Platek into a highly sought-after college recruit. Last night, the 6'4" shooting guard scored a career-high 41 points, including 7 made three-pointers to lead the unbeaten Dutchman past Shaker. He was also 12 for 13 at the free-throw line. Now, if Platek continues averaging 30 points per game as he is right now, expect other Division I suitors to get in line behind already standing offers from Fairfield and Yale. But for now, it's all about team.
Coming back as the only start, I feel like I have a lot of weight on my shoulders to kind of push this team to be the best they can be, and we're doing that right now.
Section 2's all-time leading scorer, Jimmer Fredette, got some legit playing time last night, and he helped the Pelicans defeat the Jazz. The 4th-year pro from Glens Falls quickly picked up 3 assists in 8 first-half minutes played. And then he also knocked down an elbow jumper. Fredette and the rest of the second unit for New Orleans played well. Their game, the next game on the schedule, is tomorrow night in Houston. Jake Ashcraft was one of 7 individual class champions for last year's Burnt Hills Ballston Lake wrestling team, one that claimed a Section 2 team title. Now Ashcroft is the senior leader who has twice been to the state tournament. At 170 pounds, the two-sport star is already among the all-time wrestling greats in a program that's steeped with tradition. Over the years, BHBL has produced 4 different state champions: John Carty, Jason Morris, Dave Watson, and Scott Hughes. Ashcraft hopes to join that very exclusive company.
Get back to that state tournament, hopefully finish up on the top podium, be the first Burnt Hills wrestler in a long time.
He can really reach the top. His goal is to keep climbing the ladder and get to states and, try to be the top of the podium.
Ashcraft and the Spartans wrestle tonight at Niskayuna.
Some big wide eyes there in Altamont looking up at a big leaguer. That's pretty cool.
And he's a smart guy, bright
Great
guy,
message.
and again, the connection to Guilderland, he wanted to make sure he came here personally.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Doug.
Yes.
Well, the casino decision today having a ripple effect throughout the capital region. You heard from the mayor of Rensselaer a little time ago, and you saw his disappointment about not getting that capital region casino license. It is a similar feeling for the folks in Schoharie County. Ahead at 6:30, what they are saying tonight about their proposal and what is next for the community as it looks elsewhere for an economic boost.